Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lewis here with Cryptolete, and in today's video, I'm going to do a very quick summary of risk management and what it means, because I think this is super easy to understand, and it's super important if you want to be a professional trader, but no one really talks about it, and I don't think anyone does it. So I'm going to draw this out with an example here. So this is the example. Let's say you're going to start trading, and let's say you start out with a $5,000 account. Okay, so you have a $5,000 account. Well, what is the amount that you will be risking per trade? Professional traders usually never risk more than 2%. 2% is usually the max. A lot of big timers, they say that you shouldn't even risk more than 1% of your entire account balance. So let's just say that the maximum you want to risk per trade is 2% of your entire account balance. So what does that mean? Well, 2% of $5,000, right? 2% of $5,000 is the maximum you are allowed to risk per trade. All right, that should make sense so far. So if you have a $5,000 account and the maximum you want to risk per trade is 2% of your entire account balance, 2% of $5,000 is the maximum that you're allowed to risk per trade. So 2% of $5,000 is $100. So that means that $100 is the maximum amount of money that you can lose per trade. So what you should do is you should create, an amount that you want to trade with per trade. So that could be $500, that could be $1,000, or it could be half of your portfolio. It could be $2,500, or it could be the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. For the sake of this example, let's say that you want each trade to have $500. You want $500 to go into each and every trade. All right. So each trade you make, you will trade $500. Okay. The maximum you are allowed to lose per trade is 2% of your entire account balance, or $100. So $100, okay, that's how much you're allowed to lose per trade. And you're trading $500 per trade. So $100 is obviously 1/5 of $500, or better known as 20%. So you are allowed to risk 20% per trade if you use $500 per trade, and you have a $5,000 account, and you are risking 2% of your entire account balance. So I hope that this makes sense. Basically, let's use this as an example. We have Litecoin right here, Litecoin Bitcoin pairing. And let's say you see that it's coming down here into this nice little entry zone. You want to buy it at this, place right here. It says 4001. So you could put $500 worth of your money into this account, into this trade, right? And you could actually let this fall 20%. And once it reaches 20%, this area down here, that's when you will lose $100 if you put $500 into this trade, right? So, you shouldn't even have to worry because your stop loss should be, or your stop loss should be or could be right here, or if you want to go crazy with it, it could be down all the way down here, at 10%, or it could be at 4%. But you have room if you use $500 on your account and you follow the golden rule of like only risking 2% of your entire account balance per trade. You have room to go down 20%, but you're never going to do that. So with this knowledge, right? With this knowledge, if you have, say, a $5,000 account and you put $500 into each trade, that should make stop losses so easy for you, and it should make it so easy for you to be able to simply pull out unemotional and go on to the next trade, because your stop loss is never going to be 20% or whatever. Your stop loss is over here. So if it goes down here, you pull out, that's fine, it's not a big deal. You're not going to lose $100. You'll lose you'll only lose $25 if you have, say, a 5% stop loss on a $500 trade. 5% of that of $500 is $25. So you're still well below your $100. So you come up with a strategy, and you have to figure out, like, all right, how much are you going to have in your account, in your trading account, right? Start off with that. That's the first thing you need to start off with. How much are you going to fund it to begin with? Then you need to ask yourself, how much are you willing to risk per trade of your entire capital? Usually 2% is what traders do. And then you need to ask yourself 2% of your account balance. How much is that? That is the maximum amount of money that you can lose per trade. Then you need to ask yourself, how much you're going to be putting into each trade. And then you need to calculate, the maximum, if the maximum amount that you're allowed to lose per trade is 2% of your entire account balance, you need to calculate how much 2% of your entire account balance is. And that's how much you're allowed to lose per trade. And then you need to say, all right, well, how much is that? How much are you going to put into each trade? Then you need to take whatever number this is, and you need to figure out how much, like what percent of how much money you're actually putting in per trade. You need to figure out how much this is of that. So for instance, I'm putting in $500. $100 of $500 is 20%. $100 is 20% of $500. So you need to figure out, what percentage is this number of your number that you're actually trading. I know this is sort of confusing, but you might need to watch it a couple times to figure this out. But it's really not that difficult when you think about it. And then that number right here, this percentage, this is going to be how much you're allowed to risk per trade. Where your stop loss could be if you stick to the rules. If you stick to the rules of like only trading, this much per trade, or however much you want to do per trade. And you could switch it up. So, let's say you have a $5,000 account and the maximum you want to trade is 2% of your entire account balance. Well, 2% of 5,000, that's the maximum you're allowed to risk per trade. 2% of 5,000 is $100. So $100 is the maximum amount of money you're allowed to lose per trade. So you could say each trade you make, is going to be, you're going to put $1,000 into each trade, right? If you put $1,000 into each trade, the maximum you're allowed to lose per trade is 2% of your entire account balance, which is $100. So $100 of $100 of $1,000, if you were using $1,000 per trade, well, obviously that's 1/10 of $1,000 or 10%, right? So you're allowed to risk 10% per trade if you use $1,000 per trade. If you have a $5,000 account and you're risking 2% of your entire account balance. And so that would mean that you're allowed to risk your stop loss would have to be, like this is the maximum that you could lose is 10%, and then you have to get out. Like if it drops to 10%, you get out emotionless, you don't care, like you're out, if it drops that far. And you just have to do this so you could have a $1,000 account and risk 2% of that. You just run the numbers, just run the numbers for whatever you're doing. And you should do this and follow this proper risk management. This is what professional traders do. If you want to take this seriously, if you want to be a professional trader, you gotta follow the rules, be unemotional with it. You gotta be calculated. You gotta be risk averse. You can't just keep your money in trades and keep your money in losing trades and stuff like that. And this is like a very simple way to think about it. So I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you want more information like this, including a full course on how to actually trade cryptocurrencies from the start to the finish, like from the absolute beginner, don't know anything, I need help signing up to an exchange, all the way to, being a good proficient trader and understanding different technical analysis, and risk management and everything like this, then go to cryptolete.com. I'll put a link in the description, but yeah, that's cryptolete.com. And just you could sign up there and you'll get my calls, and you'll get buy orders, sell orders, stop losses. You'll get all this stuff, everything that I'm doing. So hope to see you there. Hope you join the Cryptolete crew, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. Bye.